Hey, it's amazing to be here with you today. Whether in a new relationship, something casual, or a deep long-term partnership, this conversation today is for you. Because we're about to dive into something that often goes completely unspoken, and yet it's one of the most powerful dynamics in intimacy. You see, when it comes to physical connection, most advice out there focuses on what to do, what to say, what move to try, what position to experiment with. And sure, that has its place. But what if I told you the most mind-blowing, unforgettable, emotionally charged moments don't come from what you say, they come from what you don't say. There is something electric, something deeply primal about a woman who knows how to communicate desire, confidence, and presence without even opening her mouth. And I don't mean silence that's awkward or empty. I mean silence that's intentional, silence that speaks, silence that wraps around him and says, you've never experienced this kind of energy before and you won't forget it. This is the kind of energy that makes a man feel not just physically desired, but emotionally awakened. And here's the truth no one's telling you. When a woman owns her sensuality with nonverbal confidence, she becomes magnetic. She becomes unforgettable. She creates a moment that doesn't just live in his body, it lives in his memory. So if you've ever asked yourself, how can I take things to the next level without feeling like I'm performing? How do I build desire without chasing approval? Or even, how do I connect with my partner in a way that feels effortless and powerful at the same time? This is for you. Today, I'm going to share 5 things a woman can do in bed without saying a word that will completely blow a man's mind. And just to be clear, this isn't about impressing someone. This is about embodying your power. It's about reconnecting to your sensual energy and letting that speak louder than any words ever could. These are the things that don't require acting. They require presence, self-awareness, and a willingness to be bold in the most subtle, intimate ways. Let's get into it. You want to know one of the most underrated, overlooked, yet deeply magnetic things you can do in bed that will completely blow a man's mind? Be fully present. That's it. Simple, but not always easy. We live in a world that's constantly pulling us out of the moment, in our heads, into performance modes, into overthinking. Do I look good from this angle? What is he thinking right now? Am I doing this right? And in those moments, you're no longer experiencing connection. You're trying to manage it. But presence is where the magic is. It's when your body, your energy, and your awareness are all right here, in this breath, in this moment, in this touch. When a woman is truly present, it creates a kind of intimacy that no technique or script can ever replicate, because it tells him, without a word, I'm here with you. I'm not trying to be anywhere else. I'm not pretending. I'm not distracted. I'm here feeling this with you. And that presence, it pulls him in. You become electric, not because of what you're doing, but because of how you're doing it. Your movements slow down. Your eyes soften. Your energy deepens. You're no longer performing. You're inviting him to meet you in a space that's deeper, more honest, and way more unforgettable than anything surface level. And men feel that. Even the most physical of men can sense when a woman is present versus when she's checked out or disconnected. And when he feels your presence, your openness, your trust, your aliveness in that moment, it does something to him. It awakens something. It melts his defenses. It makes him feel like he's not just wanted for what he can give, but seen for who he is. This kind of presence turns intimacy into something sacred, something you both experience together, not something he's doing to you or you're doing for him, but something that's unfolding in real time between two emotionally alive people. And guess what? You don't need to say a word. Your silence, your breath, the way your hand lingers on his skin, the way your eyes lock into his without looking away, that says everything. It says, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm feeling you. I trust myself in this moment. I'm here because I choose to be. And that alone is a gift. So the next time you're with someone you care about, pause, take a breath, slow everything down, drop into your body, let go of how it's supposed to go, and instead feel it as it's happening. Because when you're fully present, you don't need to talk to blow his mind. Your energy speaks. And trust me, he'll never forget how you made him feel. If there is one form of communication in intimacy that's often underestimated, but wildly powerful, it's eye contact. Not just a quick glance, not a nervous flick of the eyes and then away. I'm talking about deep, intentional, soul-anchored eye contact, the kind that says everything without needing to say anything. When a woman looks at a man, not with anxiety, not with self-consciousness, but with calm desire, with that quiet inner knowing that says, I'm in this, I see you, I want this. It creates a charge in the room that's almost impossible to ignore. Most people move through intimacy in a blur. They're chasing a feeling, moving fast, skipping beats, performing scripts they think they're supposed to follow. But when you look a man in the eye, when you slow down and stay there, you're not just being physical anymore. You're being present. You're making it personal. And that changes everything, because when you hold eye contact with confidence, you send a message. You say, this is real. I'm here with you. I'm not afraid to be seen, and I'm not afraid to see you. That level of emotional courage is incredibly sexy. It's rare. It bypasses the superficial and goes straight to the emotional core of the experience. And here's something else most people miss. Men crave to be looked at this way. They crave to be seen, not just for their body, not just for their performance, but for who they are in that moment. When you hold his gaze in silence, you're saying, you're enough right now. Sit with you. I'm not going anywhere. That kind of energy disarms even the most guarded man. Now, some women ask me, but won't that feel too intense? Not if it's genuine, not if it's soft. This isn't about staring him down. It's about being fully available in your expression, open, unguarded, grounded. Your eyes are the invitation. They say, come closer. I feel safe here. I'm connected. And when your eyes say that, your whole energy follows. Eye contact also builds anticipation. When you look at a man, like you know what's about to happen between you without saying a single word. It plants a seed of excitement and tension in his mind. It makes him lean in emotionally and physically. It's not the loudest form of seduction, but it's often the most unforgettable. And let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation. It's about presence. It's about allowing your desire to be felt without needing to wrap it in words or explain it. Your gaze can be gentle, playful, fiery, inviting. It just needs to be real, because when your energy is authentic, when your eyes are honest and alive, he'll feel something deeper than just physical attraction. He'll feel seen, he'll feel chosen, he'll feel wanted, and all of that without you ever saying a thing. So the next time you find yourself in an intimate moment, don't rush. Let your eyes do the talking, linger, breathe, lock in. Because when you master the art of speaking through your gaze, you create a connection that doesn't just turn him on. It opens him up, and trust me, he'll never forget it. We often forget how much power lives in something as simple, as natural as breath. In intimacy, breath isn't just a biological function, it's a language, one that communicates your arousal, your comfort, your openness, your connection. And when you become aware of it, when you learn to own it, it becomes one of the most powerful tools you have to turn a man on without saying a word. Think about it. What's more intimate than syncing your breath with someone else's? What's more raw than allowing someone to hear your pleasure? Not through loud moaning or dramatics, but through a breath that's real, spontaneous, and completely yours. When a woman allows herself to breathe deeply during physical connection, she creates a rhythm that invites him to slow down and feel her, not just touch her, but actually tune into her. It's like she's creating music with her body, and her breath is the beat. That's where chemistry deepens. That's where things go from mechanical to magical. Breath shows presence. It shows surrender. It says, I'm not thinking about how I look. I'm not in a rush. I'm here and I'm letting this experience move through me. That kind of embodied energy is incredibly attractive because now you're not performing, you're experiencing, you're inviting him into your rhythm, and he follows because it feels more real than anything scripted ever could. And here's something men won't always articulate, but they feel it. When you breathe with intention, with confidence, with pleasure, it tells him that you're safe inside your own body. And when you're safe with yourself, it helps him relax. It helps him drop the performance too. It invites him out of his head and into his body, into presence, where real connection lives. This is where silence becomes electric, because now your breath is the conversation. You're saying, I'm turned on. I'm here with you. I feel safe. I feel open. And he hears that. He doesn't need you to say, this feels good. He feels it in the way you exhale, in the way your breath catches, in the way it deepens when something hits just right. And the best part, you don't have to think your way into this. You don't have to fake it. You simply have to allow it. Breathe into the moment. Let go of controlling the experience. The more you breathe, the more your body softens. The more you soften, the more you feel. And the more you feel, the more deeply connected he becomes. Not just to your body, but to your energy. Letting your breath lead in intimacy doesn't just blow his mind. It grounds him. It brings him into your energy, into your pace. And that's when the real magic happens. Not just passion, but trust. Not just physical connection, but emotional resonance. So the next time you find yourself in that space with someone you desire, take a deep breath. Not for him, not to impress, but for you. Because when you own your breath, you own your presence. And when you own your presence, you become absolutely unforgettable. When people think about control in the bedroom, they often think in extremes, total dominance or total submission. But the real art, the real magic, it lives in the subtlety, the micro movements, the quiet ways you guide, invite, and shape the energy of a moment without ever needing to raise your voice or explain a thing. There's something wildly sexy about a woman who takes control in ways that are calm, confident, and wordless. When you shift your body slightly to get closer to him, when you guide his hand with yours, no rush, no pressure, just a gentle but clear direction. When you tilt your chin toward his lips or push your hips against him with purpose, what you're really saying is, I know what I want, I'm not afraid to lead us there. And men feel that. They may not consciously name it, but they feel the difference between a moment where they're guessing and a moment where you're showing them. And that kind of showing doesn't come from being bossy or demanding. It comes from your body's intelligence, from your awareness of what feels good, what you desire, and your willingness to express that silently, sensually, and unapologetically. Let me be really clear. When you take control in subtle physical ways, you're not taking power away from him. You're not overpowering the moment. You're co-creating it. You're giving him something to respond to. You're opening the door and saying, follow me, meet me here. And trust me, a good man loves that. He craves that clarity. He thrives off of that kind of feminine leadership because it's not ego-driven, it's emotionally aware. And the truth is, intimacy isn't a performance, it's a dance. And in any good dance, the roles aren't fixed, they flow. One moment he's leading, the next you are. That's what makes it alive. That's what builds chemistry. That's what keeps you both engaged, connected, and fully present in the experience. Now, you might think, well, I don't want to seem like I'm trying too hard or I'm not a super dominant person. But subtle control isn't about dominance. It's about confidence. It's about body language. It's about owning your right to experience pleasure and helping guide the experience in a way that feels good for both of you. And here's something beautiful. When you guide with your body, you invite him to be more aware, more attentive, more in tune with your rhythm. That's when the experience shifts from him doing things to you to the two of you moving together in unspoken harmony. And when that happens, the connection becomes so much deeper, so much more charged, so much more memorable. So next time you're in that space, try it. Adjust your body slightly. Pull him closer. Use your hands to guide his touch. Don't ask, don't explain, just move with intention. Let your body speak with quiet, unshakable clarity. Because when you learn how to take control with subtle movements, you stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping he figures it out. You create the moment you want. And that kind of quiet confidence is not just sexy, it's absolutely magnetic. Let's talk about one of the most powerful, disarming, and unforgettable things a woman can do in bed. Not with her words, not with performance, but with pure embodied energy. She surrenders. Now, before your mind jumps to cliches, I want to reframe this completely. Surrender doesn't mean giving up power. It doesn't mean passivity. And it absolutely doesn't mean becoming small or voiceless. In fact, the kind of surrender I'm talking about, it's the boldest thing you can do. Because true surrender, the kind that makes a man pause, breathe deeper, and feel a connection in his chest, is born out of strength, not weakness. It's when you allow yourself to fully receive, without resistance, without overthinking, without trying to control how it looks, without worrying about how you're being perceived. It's when you give yourself permission to feel everything, pleasure, emotion, connection, without apology. Most of us have been taught that to be strong, we have to be in control. We have to know what's happening next. We have to guard our hearts, micromanage the moment, and never seem too into it. But here's the truth. The most magnetic, sensual, breathtaking moments in intimacy come when you let go, when you melt into the moment, when you allow someone to hold you, touch you, kiss you. And you don't just tolerate it, you feel it, you embrace it, you let it move you. When a woman surrenders in this way, it's not just sexy, it's sacred. Because she's not performing pleasure, she's embodying it. She's not pretending to be turned on, she's allowing herself to be vulnerable enough to actually be turned on. And that vulnerability, that realness, it hits a man in the soul. It says, you're not just seeing my body, you're being let into my experience. That is what he remembers. That is what makes him feel honored, trusted, chosen. That is what makes a man feel like he's not just having a physical moment, but a spiritual one. And surrender doesn't look one way. It's not always soft or submissive. Sometimes it's wild. Sometimes it's fierce. Sometimes it's quiet and still. It's not about how it looks. It's about how free you are, how safe you feel inside yourself to let go of control and allow someone to truly connect with you. And here's what's truly mind-blowing. When you surrender without shame, when your body, your breath, your expressions are completely open, you don't need to say anything. That silence becomes powerful. That moment becomes unforgettable. Because what he sees is a woman who trusts herself, a woman who owns her pleasure, a woman who isn't performing, she's experiencing. And in a world full of masks, filters, and facades, a woman who can surrender without shame is one of the sexiest, rarest, most magnetic forces he will ever encounter. So if you take nothing else from this entire conversation, remember this: your ability to receive is just as powerful as your ability to give. Your surrender isn't weakness, it's a signal of deep embodied confidence. And when you let go fully, freely, and without shame, that's not just intimacy. That's unforgettable alchemy. So let's bring this home. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be more performative. You don't need to say the perfect thing or try to match what you've seen in movies. What makes you unforgettable in bed isn't what you say, it's the energy you bring, the way you own your body, the way you breathe, the way you look at him like he's the only man in the room, the way you let your presence speak louder than any words ever could. It's your ability to be fully here, not rehearsing, not pretending, but experiencing. And that presence, that breath, that eye contact, that silent rhythm of confidence and surrender, that's what turns him on in a way he can't even explain. That's what he remembers. That's what makes the difference between a forgettable experience and something that changes the way he sees you, and intimacy itself. You don't need to perform to be powerful. You don't need to speak to be heard. You just need to trust your body, trust the moment, and trust that the most magnetic thing you can ever be is real. So here's what I want you to do tonight, this week. The next time you find yourself with someone you deeply connect with, drop into your body. Let your eyes linger longer. Let your breath deepen. Take control with your touch. Surrender where it feels safe to do so. Let your silence say everything. Because when you stop chasing the right words and start embracing the right energy, you don't just blow his mind, you awaken something in him. And that, my friend, is where true intimacy lives. Now go, be unforgettable.